If you've been telling yourself, I guess I just need to post more, I want you to take a breath, because if you are an accomplished woman, coach, or consultant who is getting great results for your clients, but you just don't have a steady flow of leads, it's probably not because you're not working hard enough. It's because you don't have a simple, repeatable lead flow process that doesn't depend on your mood or the algorithm or you being on every single day. If that hits a nerve, well, good, because today I am going to share with you a conversation-based lead gen system that uses LinkedIn, your existing network, referrals, and speaking engagements to ensure that you have a consistent flow of leads without posting every day. Let's get real. This is not about creating a personal brand over 18 months and hoping that it resonates. It is about creating a weekly system that is a manageable system that creates conversation, creates fit, and creates paying clients. And I want you to especially listen if you are a woman who has values and doesn't want to do the cheesy reach out or the pressure tactics or constantly pitch, but you want to build a business that is really in service of your clients. You want to feel proud about the business that you're building. A client of mine, ex-corporate, brilliant, great offer, great results, was stuck in that feast or famine loop. She'd have a couple of good months and then nothing. And then she would panic and revisit her website and her messaging, or join more LinkedIn groups or start a newsletter. Nothing felt steady. So we simplified. We built her a weekly conversations pipeline. Referrals, LinkedIn outreach, coffee chats, and a clean follow-up sales system. And what changed was not just her revenue, it was also her nervous system, because her business was not feeling fragile like it was before. And that's what I want for you. Now, a quick supportive note before we get into it. If you want my help implementing this system in your business, I have a simple next step for you. You might be sitting there thinking, I'd love to do this. It makes sense. I'd love some additional support. If so, book a call and we can review your current lead gen system and come up with a 90-day plan. And if you're interested in learning how we support women entrepreneurs, I'd be happy to tell you. If not, that's okay too. You'll leave with clarity either way. So book a coffee chat below. All right, so let's get into it and take a breath, because this is going to feel refreshingly simple. This is not about creating more content. It is about creating more intentional conversations with the right people. And it is about stopping thinking about lead generation as random marketing. It is a weekly discipline, like going to the gym weekly. So I'm going to walk you through this 5-step system, and I'm going to keep it very human, because you're not a robot and your business shouldn't require you to act like one. Step number 1, do what is aligned and commit to 1 or 2 channels. So this is where I see smart women get taken down. They're told that they need to do everything and be everywhere, and to start a newsletter, and to post every day, and to start a podcast or run ads. And they end up doing 8 things very badly, and none of them are making them any money. So I want you to choose what's aligned with you and what feels genuine and authentic and really leverages your strengths. Do you love writing? Do you love speaking? Do you like putting yourself out there or not? Because if you don't like the methodology, you will not sustain it and you will quit before you see the results. So alignment is really important here. And here's something that I want to normalize. A conversation-based lead generation strategy is not less than content. In fact, it can, for experienced coaches and consultants, be a faster lead generation approach, because you're building that know, like, trust formula very quickly. So for this system, I recommend one primary platform, usually LinkedIn for coaches and consultants, and then one alternate channel, typically speaking. And when I say speaking, I'm not talking about a stage with a microphone. I'm talking about Zoom rooms. I'm talking about presenting to someone else's audience or being a guest on a podcast. Things that help the audience actually hear you think, because that's what builds the know, like, trust formula quickly. Let's pause on that for a minute. If you have been hiding behind content because it seems easier or safer than conversations, I get it, but the reality is conversations convert. And if you want a steady flow of leads, the fastest and easiest way to do that is through conversation. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, you know, I get it, that makes sense, I just don't know how to implement it, book a coffee chat with me and we'll go through how you can have more conversations with the right people in your business so you have greater lead flow. So book a coffee chat below. Step 2, run your weekly lead flow using 3 simple buckets: your network, LinkedIn, and referrals. In order to have a sustainable business, you need a steady flow of leads, and I want to keep this as simple as possible for you. So we're only going to talk about these 3 buckets: LinkedIn, referrals, and your network, and we're going to touch each of these buckets consistently. Here's the mindset: you're not hunting strangers, you are developing long-term relationships, because people usually don't buy today, but they will buy in 3 months or 6 months, or potentially refer you to others. So if you go into this thinking that you are going to close a sale in this outreach, it's really just going to feel like a grind to you. So think about this as building long-term relationships, because we know through research that people typically don't buy the first time out. They require many touches before they're actually ready to buy. Let's keep this super practical. So what I would like you to do is each week make 3 lists. The first list are people who are warm contacts. So they may be previous colleagues or previous clients, people that have been saying, you know, I've been meaning to reach out to you. The second list are LinkedIn contacts, but these aren't just any contacts. We really want to zero in on ideal clients. And then the third list are referral sources. So these are people who know you well enough, they're in your corner, and they really want to help you. And here's the part that's going to calm your brain down. We're not talking about a numbers game here. We're talking about a consistency game. So we're not talking 100 messages a week. We're talking about 5 to 10 intentional messages a week. And we're talking about being consistent about it and tracking them, because what you track gets measured. And when you don't measure, it ends up turning into stories like LinkedIn doesn't work, all the referrals are dried up, or people aren't investing right now. So let me share with you a note that we received from one of our clients, Kelly, who is a consultant to nonprofits. She wrote, "My last 6 months have seen a whopping 540% increase in sales compared to the 6 months prior. Yay. And now I want to make sure I keep doing whatever made that success happen. A surface level review shows me that all of my new contracts came in from existing clients or referrals from existing clients. So part of me is tempted to just keep serving my current clients well and asking for referrals." So that was a 540% increase in nonprofits, which are really struggling right now, just from applying an outreach and referral strategy. Step number 3, invite them to a non-sales coffee chat. This gets to the heart of it, because I know a lot of women feel gross about reach out because they're afraid that they're going to be pushy or salesy, and they don't want to be bothersome. When we position it as a coffee chat, both in our head and with them, it actually takes the pressure off. It's really about getting to know you for somebody who you don't know, or catching up with someone that you do, and having a real conversation, looking for opportunities where you can support them. And often those coffee chats will in fact lead into opportunities. However, here is the catch. You do not want to do a bait and switch. You have to be careful that this is not being set up as a coffee chat when in reality it is a sales call. If in fact there is an opportunity, what I like to do is acknowledge it and say, we just kind of set this up more to get to know each other, but I'd love to talk to you about our offering. Should we set up a date to do that? Step number 4, identify in the coffee chat if in fact they are a fit for your services, or if you can help them in some other way. And we do this by being genuinely interested and curious about them and their business. So you want to start out by setting the stage in terms of what the coffee chat is about. I thought we could spend some time getting to know each other and each other's businesses to see if we can help each other in any way. Remember, this is business. They know it, you know it. Then you might want to start with a series of questions. Tell me about your business and what are you particularly challenged with this year? What do you hope to accomplish this year? If it starts to sound like something that you can help them with, rather than go into the pitch, give them a brief overview of your services and say, based on this short conversation, I think it's something that I could help you with. And if you're interested, I'd love to set up a separate call to tell you how I might be able to help you. Do you feel the difference? It is about connection and not conversion. It's clean and it is respectful. And you're positioning yourself more as a peer as opposed to a performer trying to pitch something to them. So it definitely creates trust. And if you're wondering why 2 separate calls, again, it avoids defensiveness and it is, again, respectful. But in addition to that, these 2 calls serve different purposes. A coffee chat is really about lead gen. A sales call is about converting leads into clients. So 2 very different purposes. Step number 5, when it's not a fit, look for opportunities to serve them in other ways and ask for referrals. And this is where a lot of coaches and consultants get this wrong because they have a conversation, they see that this particular individual is not their ideal client, and poof, they disappear. So 2 things here. The first is we really want to look for an opportunity to help them, whether it is a referral for them or an idea or an article for them to read, anything that can be of value. And then what we want to do is ask for a referral and reinforce exactly who it is that you serve. So I might say something like, I help established women coaches and consultants break through their revenue plateaus. Do you know anyone who might benefit from my services? And more often than not, they want to help you. People love to refer other people. They love to help people. So don't think of asking as a referral as they are doing you the big favor. They actually get to do a favor for a friend or colleague by providing them with a resource like you to help them. So let's make this real. I want you to imagine putting aside 2 to 3 hours a week for this. And it could be over multiple days. So one day you might be focused on outreach and connection. And another day you may be focused on coffee chats. And the third maybe on referrals and follow-up. Then I want you to track 3 numbers. The first number is just how many outreaches did you do? The second is how many coffee chats did you have? And the third is how many of them led to sales calls? Because when we track the numbers, we can actually improve our system and make sure that it is much more efficient for us. We want to lean into what is working and do less of what is not working. Now you're building something sustainable. The goal is not to build a business that you constantly have to feed, but to build a business that is grounded in relationships, connection, and trust. Relationships build trust, and trust drives revenue. If you want to stop feeling like your next client is dependent on how many times you post, and you want a lead generation strategy that is truly authentic and genuine to you, schedule a call with me and we can take a look at what you're currently doing and I can make some suggestions for you. And if you're interested, I will tell you about how we work with women coaches and consultants to help them accelerate the growth of their revenue. So book a call. The link is below.